How are you all doing? This, there's no shades? No, there's never been shades, right? No. Yeah. So this is our last Friday yoga class until the new year, because the center is closed next Friday and the Friday after for Christmas Eve day and New Year's Eve day. So I'm kind of bummed about that. That's a long time to be missing you guys. Um, so that there are pre-recorded programs online if you wanted to do something over the couple of weeks that we're not together. So I had somebody text me yesterday. They're traveling. I'm just going to give you this because I thought it was hilarious. They're traveling. They're out in Hawaii. So she said, "Oh, I went and did your yoga class online. Isn't that cool? She can do it from Hawaii." She said, "And there was snow in the background. Don't tell me there's snow in Walpole." I, I'm Saxis. I was tempted to say, "Oh, yeah, it's snowing." But I didn't. I was honest. But I was like, "Oh my God," she was panicking. She's like, "Oh my God, there was snow in the background. Is it snowing?" So you might get one that's recorded from a while ago, and there might be snow back there, or maybe the door will be open and it'll be summer. So you don't know. So that's just the way it is, right? Okay, well, let's do a little bit of yoga here this morning together. And if you want to come right up to the front edge of your chair, have your feet underneath your knees. And see if your weight is even in your sitting bones between the right side and the left side. So if you tend to lean more to one side than the other. And then notice if your shoulders are in front of your hips. So if you're kind of leaning forward or kind of slouching a little bit, see if you can bring your shoulders up kind of right on top of your hips. Relax your shoulder tops down away from your ears. Relax your jaw. Maybe let your teeth come apart a little bit. And relax your brow. So if you're feeling like you're holding some tension up here in your forehead, just let that go. And then if it's okay, close your eyes if you haven't already. And begin to notice your breath. Watch the way the air is moving in and out. And if you're able to breathe in and out through your nose, go ahead and do that. And if you're having some difficulty with breath this morning, perhaps breathe in through your nose and out through pursed lips like you're blowing out a candle in slow motion. And just notice, is your breath shallow or deep this morning? Is your breath fast or slow? And does the air move evenly between the right and left nostrils, or is one side a little more open than the other? Begin to deepen your breath. So as you inhale, pull the air deep into your lungs so that you can feel your belly expanding. And as you exhale, pull your belly in, like you're engaging your abdominal muscles. Pull your belly in so you're pressing out a little bit more of the breath. So breathing in, let your belly expand. Breathing out, bring a gentle contraction into the muscles of your belly. Nice, slow, deep breathing. And consciously slowing down your breath has a calming effect on the body, calming effect on the mind. And for those who were here last week, we learned a new breath. It's the bamboo breath. We're going to do that again this morning. So the bamboo breath is taking a breath in one long breath, and then letting it out in little incremental or segmented breaths. So you breathe in one long breath in, and then breathe out in segments. And continue to breathe like this. Now it's called the bamboo breath because It's kind of reminiscent of a piece of bamboo where there are little segments of the structure of the stem. And then you get to a little knuckle. And again, this is a very calming breath. Breathing in one long inhalation and then breathing out in a series of short exhalations. Just a couple more of these bamboo breaths, taking in a long, deep breath and then letting it out in short, segmented exhalations. And now go back to your natural breath, just allowing the air to move in and out. You don't have to make your breath any deeper than normal. You don't have to focus on your belly or on any segmented kind of breathing. It's just your natural breath, just the air moving in and out. Take in a breath together, let it out with a sigh. Let your eyes gently open. And then just to start, I'm going to have you turn your head as far to the right as you can. Try to keep your body forward. So turn your head as far to the right as you can. Turn your eyes as far around in the eye sockets as they'll go. And see what you notice in your direct vision and in your peripheral vision. And just make a mental note of what you're able to see. And then turn your head back to center and keep breathing as we do this. So this is just a little check-in. So turn to the left. And same thing, just your head, not your body, but just your head. And notice what you can see in your direct vision. Notice what you see in your peripheral vision. Take a mental snapshot of that as well. And then slowly bring your head back around to center. Okay, so let's roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down a few times. Noticing any noise in there. Crunching, crackling. Notice if you feel restricted on one side or the other, or maybe on both. And then reverse the direction of those shoulder rolls. Good. Okay, and then we're going to get the elbows up there. So take both elbows. We're going to circle up and around. So we're starting with some big movements here for the shoulders this morning. Imagine you're drawing a big circle on the right with the right elbow and a big circle on the left with the left elbow. And at some point reverse the direction. So we just go around the other way. It's like erasing the circle, I guess. Okay. All right. And now see if you can go forward with your right elbow. So you're making circles in a forward direction with the right elbow. Everybody got that? While you're doing those forward circles with your right elbow, can you do reverse circles with your left elbow? If both elbows are moving in the same direction, you don't have it right. Should feel a little weird. Your brain should be going, what the heck is going on? All right, and then relax that a little bit. Let's take the left elbow. We're going to make some forward circles with the left elbow. So forward circles with the left. And as you're doing forward circles with the left, do reverse circles with the right. This should be way easier. Not at all, right? All right. All right, and then let that go. Let's shake everything out a little bit. Okay, so we got the shoulders kind of working a bit. So take your hands out in front, extend your arms so your thumbs are facing out to the sides. And then we're going to take the arms all the way back around as if you could touch your thumbs behind your back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Imagine doing that, right? And then we're going to turn the palms down and come all the way around and cross the arms over as far as they'll go. Turn your palms up. Go way back, squeeze those shoulder blades together, turn the palms down, and now cross the opposite way, right? So whichever arm was on the top before, everybody's going, I have no idea. Turn your palms up. So we're going to keep doing that little switcheroo. So whichever arm was on top before is now on the bottom. Good. Great. Breathe as we're doing this. All right. All right, couple more. So when you bring the arms back, really squeeze the shoulder blades together. Again, like you could touch your thumbs back there. Like imagine you had that much flexibility in your shoulders. You'd have all flexibility and no strength, right? So how about one more each way? Good. Excellent. Okay, and then let that go, kind of shake it out a little bit. I'm going to take the right arm and cross it over to the left, and then pull that arm over to the left as far as you can. Turn and look out over your right shoulder, and we're going to make a yes movement with the head. So lifting and lowering the chin, breathing in and breathing out. And notice where you feel the stretch, where you feel a sense of stretch in your neck, your shoulders. And then bring your head back to center. We're going to release that arm, sweep it way out to the side, bring it all the way around behind your back, bend your elbow. See if you can rest your arm on the small of your back, like your lumbar spine, and then take your left hand, grab hold of your right. So behind your back, you're kind of holding like this. If you can get your wrist, that's okay too. Now notice if you're kind of contorting your shoulder, see if you can relax your shoulder down, relax your neck and your jaw. Give that arm just a little bit more traction over to the left-hand side. And then we're going to take the left ear toward the left shoulder and then raise it back up. So we'll do this a few times. So it's just the ear going to the shoulder. So we're not moving the spine, or actually that's not true. We are moving the spine because the neck is part of the spine. But we're not moving the body, the torso in this fashion, right? So we're just doing the ear to the shoulder. Now the next time that you have your ear on your shoulder, we're just going to hold here and pause for a moment. And relax that right side a little bit more, right? So really relax that. Now you might be feeling a stretch somewhere in this right side, maybe anywhere from like your head, your ear, can go all the way down to your shoulder, maybe even into the elbow area. And as you keep your head in this leftward position, so your left ear close to your shoulder, turn your nose down toward the floor and then up toward the ceiling. So it's like a no movement. So imagine your ear on your shoulder and you're saying no at the same time. Breathe in and breathe out. So in other words, you don't want to lift your ear away from your shoulder. You want to keep the ear as close to the shoulder as you can. It's just that we're turning the head. So you have lots of little muscles in your neck and your shoulder that connect your head to your body, and they can get pretty tight. So we have to exercise them in a variety of ways to loosen them up. Now the next time you're looking down toward the floor, so your nose is down toward the floor, I'm going to ask you to just kind of hold here a bit and breathe and relax your right shoulder a little more. Relax your right arm. So if your right arm is feeling tense, see if you can let go of tension in that right arm. Breathing in, breathing out. And then turn your head back to center. Raise the head all the way up. Good. We're going to release that right arm. Sweep it forward. Draw it all the way up overhead. Now go up as high as you can. If you can't get too high up, just do the best you can wherever that goes. Bend your elbow and place your hand on your shoulder. Now lift your elbow as high as it'll go and then lower it down. Okay, so we're going to do that a few times. Breathe in and breathe out, lifting the elbow up and down. So where you want to focus the stretch is on this right side of the body, near the ribs, under the armpit. So keeping your torso up nice and tall. Great. How about one more? We're going to lift and we're going to hold and breathe and get that elbow a little bit higher. Okay. So just for fun, take your left hand, bring it behind your back. So the palm of your hand is kind of facing out like this. Now slide your left hand up and grab hold of your right fingers. Sure, easy, right? So lift that elbow. So just get your hands as close to as they'll go back there, right? So whatever kind of thing is going on, take a couple of breaths. Ah, good. Great. And then we're just going to release the arms, let them come down by your sides. Let them hang down by your sides. Close your eyes for a moment. And notice how much longer your right arm is than your left arm. And notice any sensations in that right arm. You might have some tingling or warmth or maybe even a little coolness, some sort of a temperature thing going on there. So just notice what you feel. And let your eyes open. And then we're going to take that left arm, sweep it over to the right. Take hold of that left arm with your right, and you're just going to pull it over to the right a little bit more. Turn and look out over your left shoulder, and we're going to do a yes movement with the head here. So you're lifting and lowering the chin. Breathing in, breathing out, little yes movement. And notice if it's different on this side. Good, and then you're going to bring your head back to that center position. Release your left arm, sweep it out and around, bring it behind your back. Let that arm rest on the small of your back, and then take your right hand, grab hold of your left, so you're doing this behind your back, or maybe even up to your wrist. See if you can relax your body a little bit. So if you're kind of contorting to get there, just relax your body. Relax your jaw, your face. And then we're going to bring the right ear to the right shoulder and lift. So we're just going to do this a few times, just bringing the ear toward the shoulder and then lifting. And as you're doing this, so a couple of things. Keep your breath nice and smooth, go nice and slow, and also notice if this feels different on this side. Right? Quite often we're a little tighter on one side than the other. And the next time that your ear is on or close to your shoulder, just hold it there. Now relax your left shoulder a little bit. Oftentimes when we're doing a movement like this, trying to get the ear to the shoulder, the other side kind of comes in and tries to help. But that just creates a little more tension. So focus on letting go of the tension in that shoulder, neck. And you might be feeling a stretch in the head, the ear. You might feel it down into the neck, the shoulder, even down into the arm and elbow. And as you hold your right ear close to your right shoulder, we're going to do a no movement. So just turning the nose down toward the floor and then up toward the ceiling. Breathing in and breathing out. Again, real slow movement, right? So slower is better. When in any kind of circumstance in life, when we move quickly, we're engaging with momentum more than we are with our own agency. So if we can go slower in whatever we're doing, we get to have a different experience of that thing. The next time that your nose is down toward the floor, let's kind of hold here in this position for a little bit. So breathing in and breathing out, relaxing the arm and the shoulder on the left, relaxing the neck, the jaw, the face. Breathing deeply. And bring your head back to kind of that neutral position. We're going to release that left arm now, sweep it forward and all the way up overhead, whatever that looks like for you. It might be straight up, it might be out here. We're going to bend the elbow, place the hand on the shoulder somewhere. We're going to lift that left elbow up as high as it'll go and then lower it down. So breathe in and breathe out. Try not to lean into your right side, so see if you can keep your body upright. And notice if you're hiking that shoulder up to your ear. See if you can release the shoulder away from the ear in order to do the work. Right? Couple more of these. Great. And last one, we're going to hold this up and lift a little higher, higher, higher. Take your right hand now, sweep it around behind your back. Reach up there, grab those left fingers. Right? Yeah, just like this back there. That's what I'm doing. See how I'm doing it? So just do the best you can. The fingers are going toward one another. So you might be feeling it in the right, you might be feeling it in the left, maybe you're feeling it in both. See if you can relax your jaw and your neck. And exhale, lower everything down. Let your arms hang down by your sides. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a breath in, let it out with a sigh. Check in and make sure the right and left arms feel like they're about the same length again. And again, just notice, do you feel like a tingling or warmth or coolness in the shoulders, the arms, the hands, fingers? And let your eyes open. So when we do stretches like that, oftentimes we will feel a temperature difference or a sensation difference in the arms. And some of that is blood flow that gets increased to that area, and some of it is actually better nerve conduction, right? So if you have tight muscles, your blood vessels and your nerves kind of they travel through and around the muscles and the connective tissue in your body. When the muscles and connective tissue are very tight, it puts pressure on the nerves and blood vessels. So you don't get as much blood flow, and you don't get as good a nerve conduction. So you can have a sort of a neuropathic sensation. And when we do things that stretch those muscles, those vessels get to expand and kind of have a different experience. So it's often quite an interesting awareness to have. So let's take the right arm. Some of you remember this. So we're going to press the heel of the hand away, right? So remember the little swan neck movements that we do? So we're just going to bend the elbow. See if you can bring the back of the wrist to your shoulder and then extend out. So we're just bending and extending, breathing as we're doing this. This is also great for nerves and blood vessels in and around the elbow and in and around the wrist, right? So this is one of the movements I give to my computer people who are always complaining about tightness in their hands and wrists and up into their necks. This is one of the things I have them do. So breathing in and breathing out. Excellent. Couple more. Great. And we're going to extend all the way out. Good. Now we're going to take the arm up overhead as high up as it'll go. You're going to bend your elbow and place the palm of your hand on your right cheek. Right? Breathe. And then we're going to come up, all the way up and down. Okay, we're going to do that a few times. So palm of the hand is down toward the floor. Bend your elbow. Palm of your hand should be kind of up toward the ceiling now. And now we're going to take that palm right against the cheek. And up and down. We'll do that just 2 more times here. So do the best you can. If you can't get your arm all the way up, that's okay. So as you bend your elbow, the palm of your hand is up toward the ceiling. It's like you're holding a tray, right? And then you're going to bring that palm to the face. Good. Keep breathing. Excellent. Last one. So we're going to go all the way out to the side. Bend, palm of the hand to the cheek, and up and down. Good. Just kind of shake that out a little bit. Let's go to the other side. So same thing. We're going to extend out like you're saying stop. And then we're going to bend little swan neck. So you're trying to get the back of your wrist as close to your shoulder as it'll go. And then extend out. So the more you can bend and extend at the wrist, the more you'll work with the tension in your wrist, if that's what you have is tension in your wrist. The more you can straighten and bend your elbow, the more you're going to work with the tension in your elbow. So if you have a little bit of both, give it all your all at the elbow and the wrist. So keep breathing in and out. Great. All right, and then we're going to go all the way out and we're going to hold out there. Good. So everybody's got the palm out like you're saying stop. So you're going to keep your fingers really lifted. Bring the arm up. Keep the palm of the hand up toward the ceiling. And now bend your elbow and place the palm of that hand on the left cheek. Yes. Okay. Come all the way up, out, and down. All right. Let's keep going. Breathing in and out. So the palm of the hand is up toward the ceiling. You guys remembered, what did we serve at Thanksgiving? Cranberry sauce, right? Remember we were serving cranberry sauce? We're not going to serve. No eggnog serving today. All right. Those are all just kind of fun ways to work your body and get the nerves and blood vessels the space they need. So one more time, you guys. Looks good. Excellent. Okay, shake that out a little bit. All right, so those of you who've done this with me before, you know we have one more step in that little thing. So I'm going to ask you to take your right thumb and forefinger together, your first finger together. This is going to be your spyglass, right? So we're going to take the arm out to the side, and then we're going to bring the arm up, bend the elbow. So the palm of your hand is up toward the ceiling, and your little spyglass thing, keep that together. And now take your spyglass, put it around your eye. Not this way, right? This way. It should be hard. It should be like maybe you can't get it near your arm. Yes, it should be impossible, somebody said. Yes, exactly. Come all the way up, out, and down. So you're going to keep your first finger and your thumb together. And we're going to come up and do that little spyglass thing just one more time. So see if you can get that little spyglass. It's tough with the mic here. And then go all the way up. If you get up into your nose, it's okay. So shake that out a little bit. Up, yeah, if it gets close to your nose. So you're going to take the left first finger and thumb together. Same thing. We're going to go out to the sides. Bend the elbow so the palm of the hand's up toward the ceiling, and then see if you can get your little spyglass up near your left eye. Right? And up and around. Yeah. And if your fingers and your thumb don't get close to your eye, that's okay. You know, you can kind of do like a little telescope thing, like way out here. That's okay. And then all the way up and down. And shake that out. Okay. That wasn't too bad, huh? Did you find it easier on one side than the other? Yeah. Isn't that amazing, right? So let's do this. Let's do first fingers and thumbs together, both sides, right? Yeah, we'll get eyeglasses now instead of spyglass. So bring the arms up. Good. Bend the elbows. See if you can get your little glasses. We could all do this at one time, right? So not like this, you guys. Because that's way easy. That's way easy. This is what somebody said impossible. Yeah. All right, let that go. It's got to be fun, right? You'll remember it. Joyce is saying, "What the heck?" So again, I mean, it's a good way to engage not only the muscles and the tissue in your arms, your shoulders, your wrists, and your elbows, but also your brain, right? Because you got to think about how you're doing things like that. Okay, so we're going to do another little thing for the upper body, because if you remember, we started by turning the head. We're going to get back to that in a minute. So I'm going to ask you to take your right arm forward, make just a little gentle fist. You don't even have to make a fist, just kind of relax your fingers, and lift your thumb up, right? So you're going to just focus your gaze on your thumb. And what I'm going to demonstrate this. So we're going to be bringing the arm all the way down, and as we bring the arm down, you're going to keep your gaze on your thumb, but you're not going to move your head. So in other words, you're going to bring the arm down, and you're not going to look at it like this. You're going to look at it just with your eyes, okay? So you're just going to let your eyes follow your thumb down, okay? So relax your breathing, have your thumb up, fix your gaze on your thumb, and really slowly begin to lower that down. So we're only going to lower the arm down until you lose contact, visual contact with your thumb. Now you're going to lose your direct contact, right? It's going to move into your peripheral vision. And then follow that as far as you can. And as soon as you lose peripheral vision, stop. And then slowly raise the arm back up. Notice when it gets back into your peripheral vision. And you're going to bring it back up to the starting position. Keep breathing. And then take your eyes away from your thumb and relax your arm. Okay? So we're going to do that again on the other side. So again, you're moving the arm just until you start to lose that contact between your vision and your thumb, and then you're going to pause there, and then we're going to bring it back up. Okay? And again, not moving your head at all. So light fist with the left hand, very easy, light fist. Thumb is extended. Fix your gaze on your thumb. Keep your head where it is. So you're going to relax your neck a little bit and just slowly begin to lower that arm down. It's a pretty slow movement. Don't want to go fast. Breathing in, breathing out. Notice at which point you switch from direct vision to peripheral vision, right? So there's a point where you can no longer follow the thumb directly with your eyes because your eyes can't make that movement, can't make that adjustment. But you switch to peripheral vision, so you're actually looking at something on the floor, but you can still kind of see your thumb. And when you get to the place where you're just losing it, pause. Breathe. And then slowly begin to lower that, to raise that arm back up. And as you do, go really slowly so that you can find that transition point where you go from peripheral vision to direct vision. I like to kind of give myself a little pause when I get there so I can notice it. Getting the arm just back to shoulder height, kind of to the starting position. And then release your eyes from your thumb and release your arm. So take a moment just to kind of recalibrate a little bit. We're going to do that one more time on each side. So now that you know what the whole movement is, you might have a different experience with it. So take your right arm out. Thumb is extended. And again, relax your neck and shoulders. And we're not going to move the head. And you're just going to slowly begin to lower that arm down, following your thumb with your gaze. Keeping the thumb in your direct vision for as long as you can. And as soon as it starts to shift into peripheral vision, pause for a moment. Just notice where that is. And then continue all the way down until you just start to lose contact with your peripheral vision. And notice where that is. Breathing into it. And then slowly start to raise the arm back up. Again, pausing and acknowledging when you get from peripheral to direct vision. And then continuing up. Make sure your breath is smooth and easy. It can be really challenging with the breath when we're doing this kind of movement. And when your arm gets just about to the starting position, release your eyes from your thumb and release your arm down. And one more time on the left. So left side, thumb extended, nice relaxed fist, relaxed shoulder, breath is moving freely and easily, slowly lowering that arm down, tracking it with your eyes. And go slow, so you don't want to go too fast. Go to just the point where you start to lose that direct vision, pause as you switch to peripheral. And then go down again just until you start to lose the contact with your peripheral vision. Pausing here and then slowly making the return trip, right? So just doing this once. We're not doing this a series of times. It's just one trip. Noticing where the direct vision comes into play. And then release your eyes from your thumb. Relax your arm. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a couple of breaths in and out. And notice what your eyes feel like. And then let your eyes gently open. So give them a little bit of a break. That's such a good question. So that's where we're going. So did anybody notice that it was easier on one side than the other? Yeah. It's pretty profound how our vision is different on each side. And anybody who has glasses knows that usually one side is a little different than the other. So part of the structure of our eyes is muscular, right? So the more we can do these kinds of exercises, we kind of lose our muscular strength in every part of our body if we don't use it, right? Talk about that all the time. So if we don't use a certain movement, we're going to lose our ability to do that. With our eyes, we don't often think of our eyes as being structures that have muscular attachments to them, but that's how I can turn my eyes from side to side, look up and look down. And if I only use them in a certain way, that's going to affect my vision. That's going to affect, believe it or not, it's going to affect how I use my neck muscles, how I use my shoulder muscles, because this is all connected internally. So this is one of those movements. Again, the thumb is just a really good pivot point. For me, I notice really quickly that I lose that direct vision on one side. I go to peripheral vision for a good long time on one side. The other side, not so much. I have good direct vision, and then my peripheral vision is much shorter. So that's just sort of an interesting thing to note about yourself when you're doing that. Does that answer that question? All right. Okay. So let's do this little check now. So sitting forward, I'm going to have you turn to the right as far as you can. Just your head, not your body. Keep turning. Turn your eyes as far around in the eye sockets as they'll go, because remember we just exercised the eye muscles. And notice what you can see back there. And see if you notice a difference between this and the first time you did it. And then come back around to center. Again, nice and slow. So you want to go slow when we're doing these really deep movements. And then go over to the left. Same thing. Go nice and slow. Turn your head. Not your body, just your head. Look as far around as you can. So let your eyes move in the eye sockets all the way down. Or all the way around, sorry. Notice what you can see. And compare that to what you saw the first time. And then really slowly come back to center. Good. Okay. How many of you noticed a difference after doing a few exercises? Yeah. So it can really make a difference. And these are just some of the exercises we can do. We've done other ones in the past, and there's lots of different ways. The movements where we lift and lower the chin, where we pull the ear from side to side. We're working on the muscular structure that holds the head onto the shoulders. And oftentimes when we're tight, we pull everything in together, right? When we pull everything in together, we don't have as much range because the muscles are tight and it's not allowing the vertebrae to move the way they need to move freely. All right. So we've spent a good amount of time on the neck and the shoulders today. We're going to switch gears a little bit and move to the feet. So let's take the right leg, extend it out. Have your heel on the floor, and then we're going to squeeze and extend the toes. So squeezing and extending. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. And then we'll point and flex the foot. So tapping the toes, tapping the heel. Notice if your torso is starting to slump over a little bit, so you can use your hands here to give yourself a little support. And then we'll circle around at the ankle. Good. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's circle the other way. Ooh, good music there. And then heel on the floor, and we're going to rotate the whole leg in and out. So like a big windshield wiper. Good. Okay. Next time your foot is at the 12 o'clock position, so straight up, and your knee is at that 12 o'clock position, engage the muscles here in your thigh really strongly. So it's almost like you're trying to get those muscles to hug the bone there, and keeping your torso up nice and tall. So if you don't have your hands here alongside your body, do that now. And we're just going to gently lift and lower that heel. And I'm going to ask you to do this to a count of 3. Right? So 1, 2, 3. Very slow count of 3. 3, 2, 1. Right? So do that in your head. Nice slow count to 3. And when you get to the top, right? So when you get to the number 3 and your leg is up high, you're going to give these muscles here another good little squeeze. And keep that squeeze as you lower down. Right? Breathe in, breathe out. So if you're doing this to a point where it makes you hold your breath, that's a little too much effort. You want to back off just a little bit. And the next time that your heel is down, let's relax the leg a little bit. Let's just let it rest for a moment. Okay. And then lift your toes again, straighten the leg, engage these muscles. Now turn this leg out to the little toe side. So if you're looking at your foot, it should be somewhere around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock position, right? Squeezing the muscles here in the upper thigh again, holding onto the chair on the side. Keep the foot out to the side. So it's important that you don't turn back to the 12 o'clock position. You're going to lift 2, 3, and lower 2, 3. And lift 2, 3. So again, make sure the foot is turned out to the side. Don't let it come back to the 12 o'clock position. And you want that movement to be up here at the hip, right? So we're working a particular part of the thigh muscles These muscles here on the inside of the thigh are responsible for helping keep your knee healthy. Right? So if anybody's had a knee replacement, this is one of the exercises they have you do to regain some strength in that internal leg in those internal leg muscles. Next time you lift, can you hold and breathe? You don't have to smile, but just breathe. Keep pressing out through your heel. So these muscles are working really, really hard. They might be shaking. They might be feeling kind of burny right now. Maybe your foot's starting to drift back to 12. See if you can get it back out there to 1 o'clock. How about one more really full deep breath in and out? And slowly lower down. Excellent. Okay, bend that knee. Give that leg a little massage. Holy moly, right? Yikes. Okay, we're going to move over to that other side. I don't want you guys to leave here and not have something that'll carry you for the next 2 weeks, right? So with your left leg extended, we're going to start with the toes. So squeezing and extending toes, breathing in and breathing out. Notice how these toes work. Same as the other foot, maybe different. Point and flex. So again, I like to just have my hands on the chair just because it just reminds me. Because it's really easy to get into this position because it's comfortable and I forget that I'm there, right? So just tapping. And then we'll circle at the ankle. Good. Keep breathing. And reverse direction. Excellent. Okay, and then heel comes down to the floor, and we're just going to do this big windshield wiper movement, rolling the leg in and out. It's happening from way up here in the hip. Good. Okay, and then the next time that your foot is straight up, we're going to hold in this position. Engage these muscles. So again, it's almost like the muscles are trying to hug onto the bone, so you're really trying to keep those muscles strong with the hands alongside the body. Now this is where it's important to do this. Engage the belly a little bit here, and we're slowly going to lift 2, 3, and lower 2, 3. So you're keeping the toes reaching toward the shin, right? So don't let your foot relax. You want to really keep the leg muscles completely active while we're doing this. Good. So it's a slow count of 3 on the lift and a slow count of 3 on the lower. And how about just a couple more of these? So lifting and lowering. And again, you might be feeling that right there in the thigh. You might be feeling it in the knee, right? And the next time that your heel comes down to the floor, keep your legs straight, but relax your leg muscles a little bit. Give it just a little bit of a break. Okay, and then we're going to again press out through the heel, lift the toes up, and then rotate the whole leg out to the little toe side. So again, if you look at your own foot, you're probably at 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock position with the foot. We're going to keep the foot in that 10 or 11 o'clock position and focus on the muscles right here on the inner part of the thigh. And we're going to slowly lift and slowly lower. So a couple things to watch. Don't let your foot drift back to 12 o'clock. So you want to keep it out to the side. This should be harder. I didn't say this on the other side, but this should be harder because we're working with a smaller muscle in here than when your foot is up at 12 o'clock. When your foot is up at 12 o'clock, there are 2 muscles that run right down the front of your leg that actually are doing a lot of work, and they're pretty strong. And then the little muscle on the inside here and a couple of its little helpers are doing the work now. That's why it's hard. Good. 79. Whew. And how about the next time we raise, can we hold? Keep pressing out through your heel. Keep lifting your toenails toward your shin a little bit more. So again, you might be feeling a lot of burning or shaking or crackling. Yes, there could be some crackling in there, some sensation, right? So it's all about sensation. How do we optimize that? How are we doing? No? Should I tell you a story? No. Definitely not. Definitely not. Okay, how about we take 3 breaths to lower? Or if you're already down, that's okay. Whew. Relax that. Give it a little bit of a massage in there. Yes, Nina. Awesome. Awesome. Yes. So, yeah, don't want to have surgery. Definitely. Yeah, that and again, this is one of the things they give you in PT after your knee surgery, but it's also something you can do preventatively, right? So oftentimes our knee problems are because the kneecap isn't tracking properly, right? Think about your kneecap. It's like it's this little disc that goes up and down as you bend and extend your leg, right? So when you're extending your leg, the kneecap is up here. When you're bending it, it slides down a little bit. So if it's not tracking properly, what we have control over is the structure around it, the muscles around it. If I'm really strong here in my upper thigh, in the outer part of my thigh, and really weak in the inner thigh, that could track the kneecap a little bit this way. If I don't have a lot of strength in my thighs at all, what happens is when the kneecap comes up, instead of lifting up and pulling up nice and strong, it just kind of slides up and rubs on the structures underneath, so that can wear those away. So quadriceps strength is super important to knee health. It's also really important to hip health because your quadriceps muscles, the muscles here in the front of your thighs, they do two things. They bend at your hips, right? So this is partly quadriceps movement, and they flex your knee. So this is what those muscles do together, right? So keeping them strong will keep your hips strong and keep your knees strong. All right. So we're not going to do any more quadriceps strengthening muscles right now, but we are going to take actually before we do that, let's take the right leg and we're just going to bend and extend the knee a couple of times because we've had the knee straight while we were doing that. Next time you bend your knee, place the bottom of your foot on the floor so you're stretching the bottom of your toes, and then slide or walk your foot under your chair as far as it'll go. Okay, and now simultaneously press your heel toward the floor and your knee toward the floor on that side. Okay, everybody able to do that? We'll do that a couple of times. Relax it, and then press your heel and your knee toward the floor at the same time. And relax. One more time. Okay, and relax. We're going to extend that leg out. Same thing with the other side, so we're just bending and extending. All right, just getting a little bit of lubrication in that knee. And the next time you bend your knee, you're going to put the bottom of your foot on the floor, slide or walk that back. Squeaky up here. All right, press your heel and your knee toward the floor, and then relax. Press your knee and your heel toward the floor, and relax, and keep breathing just a couple more times. So we're getting a slight stretch here in the quadriceps. Great. And then release that. Okay. So we're going to do another stretch for the quadriceps muscles. This is a little more complicated, so I'm just going to show you, and then we'll do it together, okay? So we've done this before. Some of you know this already. So we're going to be turning in the chair when we do this, and then we're going to be sliding this leg out. So I'm going to start with my leg in this position. So this is very similar to what we just did, right? So I'm sliding that foot back a little bit, and we'll do this together in a minute, so just kind of hang out. So what I'm going to do now is slide that foot back, and as far as I can slide it back, I'm going to try and straighten that leg, right? So I'm starting to get a stretch in through here, which is in my hip, and I'm straightening my knee. So can you see that? Okay. So think about this in terms of your quadriceps muscles. I was just saying this is the movement that your quadriceps muscles do, right? So when I am bending at the hip, I'm engaging or tightening those muscles. When I'm bending at the knee, when I'm straightening at the knee, I'm also engaging those muscles. When I do this, I'm stretching those muscles. These are tough muscles to stretch, by the way. We can easily stretch hamstring muscles, right? We can just kind of do that little thing. But it's harder to stretch these muscles. So that's the whole thing. Now, a couple of things I want to mention is the chair is going to be important to just kind of hang on to this, and the position of your body on the chair when we do this as well. So let's do this. Let's turn to the right first. So turn to the right. Keep your left cheek off the chair. Does that make sense? And then get the back of your right knee as close to the edge of the chair as you can. Okay, so that the whole upper leg is supported on the chair. Hold on to your chair with your right arm. Good. And did I say that right? Yeah, right. Okay. So we're going to take the left leg and slide it back. Okay. That looks good, you guys. Yes, and so having your toes curled under is going to stretch the bottom side of your foot. Now, straighten your left knee as best you can, and then relax it a little bit. So we're going to do this just a couple of times, and then we're going to hold. Now, as you're doing this, so some of you might have a lot of flexibility in your low back. So what I mean is this. So as I straighten my leg, see how I'm arching my back? I'm going to see if I can keep my back straight and bring that leg. You're doing awesome, Mary. It'll go. And then relax that. So one more time. We're going to hold it this time, you guys, right? How we doing? Everybody there? Everybody doing okay? Hold on to the back of your chair so you don't fall off. Yep, there you go. Good. Yeah, we don't want anybody on the floor. Okay. Breathe in, breathe out. And then slowly relax that left leg. Now lean into the right side. So it's like you're leaning into the back of your chair. Slide your left foot forward a little bit. Turn back to the center of your chair. Okay. So take a moment and just notice what your left hip feels like. Okay. So everybody looked like they did okay. Any questions about that? Everybody's feeling comfortable with that? Okay, so now it's going to be interesting to see how it feels on the other side. So turn to the left. And once again, so you want your right cheek kind of hanging off the chair a little bit. You want to have the back of your left knee as close to the chair as you can get it. Yeah, so you kind of scoot your backside on the chair a little. Hold on to the back of the chair with your left hand. Now take your right leg, slide it back, toes curled under. Good. And then let's just practice a couple times, straightening that knee and then bending the knee. And straightening the knee and bending the knee. Right, so a couple more times. Great. And then we're going to hold there. Right, so as we're holding here, so we're stretching through the front of that right hip down into the quadriceps a little bit. Breathing in, breathing out. Right. Good. Take one more breath. And then relax. We're going to lean into the left side of the chair, slide your right foot forward, and then bring the back side around to the center. Okay. Who noticed a difference one side to the other? Yeah. So again, it's really interesting to notice, and it's not that it's anything wrong, that there's anything wrong. So I want to make sure I say that. So it's not bad that you have more flexibility on one side than the other. It's normal, in fact, because working together, we have that balance of strength and flexibility. If I were super flexible on both sides, didn't have as much strength, there would be certain things I wouldn't be able to do. Likewise, if I'm too tight, if I'm really tight on both sides and have no flexibility or limited flexibility, again, there are certain things I wouldn't be able to do. So when we think about the body, we want to think about it as a whole, like what it is, that it works together. Okay, so sit comfortably in your chair. I'm going to do a little meditation here. Yeah, if you want to stick your shoes back on, you can do that. If you need your jacket or something to be warm, you can do that. And close your eyes. And tune into your breath. So just notice the way the air is moving in and out of your body. And notice if your breath is shallow or deep, if it's fast or slow. And see if you can slow it down. As you breathe in, let your belly expand. And as you breathe out, contract your belly a little bit, like you're pulling your navel in toward your spine. So breathing in, there's a soft expansion in the belly. Breathing out, pulling your navel in toward your spine, contracting those belly muscles. Inhaling and exhaling. As you're breathing in and out, investigate if there's tension in your neck and shoulders. And see if you can let go of that tension. As you inhale, let your belly expand and let that expansion come up into your rib cage. And as you breathe out, let the breath leave the rib cage and the belly. Breathing in, the body expands, belly and rib cage. Breathing out, the body contracts. And as you're watching your physical body's response to your breath, notice what's happening in your mind. Notice if you're feeling distracted, if your thoughts are pulling you out of the present moment. If you notice the thoughts distracting you, see if you can just gently turn your awareness back to your breath. And let the breath be the anchor point for you to stay in this moment. Right now, the only thing you have to do is breathe in and breathe out. And to help you anchor in the breath, you can repeat a little saying in your head. As you're inhaling, say to yourself mentally, I'm breathing in. And as you're exhaling, say to yourself mentally, I'm breathing out. So with each inhalation, in your mind, you're saying, I'm breathing in. And with each exhalation in your mind, you're saying, I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in. I'm breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Take your hands up to the center of your chest. Take a nice deep breath into the space underneath your hands and let your breath out with a sigh. Ah. And then maybe take a moment in gratitude, bringing your hands together in a way that feels comfortable, just in gratitude to yourself. And perhaps opening your eyes and just acknowledging these wonderful people here in the room. Yeah. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all those things. Yep, happy holidays for whatever people celebrate. So.